Oh, Montgomery to Wanganeen, the man for all occasions. He's done it again. He's headed for a second flag.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Pears on a Pod. This week, we've gone double. We've gone the double episode for the week, and we've got a very special guest. But before I introduce probably the biggest guest we've had so far, I'm going to introduce the co-host, Hudson. Hello, Jack. How are you, mate?
Very good, mate. I'm buzzing for this. I've been buzzing about this all week, and let's get into it.
All right, I'll introduce the man that played 300 games in his AFL career, the 1993 Brownlow medalist. 173 of those games were for Port Adelaide. He's a Port Adelaide legend, the inaugural captain of Port. He also was a part of the 2004 premiership team. 4 goals in that second half. I introduce Gavin Wanganeen. Gav, welcome to the podcast.
Fellas, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Honestly, this is the highlight of the week, or one of the highlights of the week. We've had Bobby Carlisle on Wednesday, and now we've got you, Gav. It's a whole lot of AFL games between us, I've realised, especially here, 300 games of AFL between us. So that's great that we can share that.
That's great, mate. Anytime, I'm a sharing kind of guy.
I love that. But tell us a bit about what you've been doing since you retired. What have you been involved with, and what have you been doing?
Yeah, well, since, my last game in 2006, which only feels like yesterday, I was a 16-year AFL footballer who had a great career with 2 clubs, and it all came to an end quite fast, and I was just, different phase, just trying to find my way again, I guess, into the real world. And, yeah, it was a little bit challenging, well, a lot challenging, actually, because all you knew was to play footy. And when you get out into the real world, you think, am I going to be good at anything else? Like, am I just going to be good at playing footy? So all these, negative thoughts sort of pop into your head, but you just got to get back on your bike, and you got to really just have a crack at a few things until something lands. And that's pretty much, what I did. So I'm actually a contemporary Indigenous artist now. So after many years of, I call it being in the wilderness a little bit since I retired, and then I found my purpose in a way, and that's my art and connecting with my Indigenous culture from my mum's side, the Gugutha people, and my mum's stories and my grandfather and great-grandfather's journey from the west coast of South Australia out of a mission called Kunaba Mission, just out of Ceduna, 30 k's out of Ceduna. So I put all my art and paint about their stories and my connection to that part of the country.
You've shown as well that obviously a lot of your influence goes down to the kids, even to this day. And we've seen Tex now taking the game on in his first year of footy. How much of an influence has being a part of obviously the Indigenous culture, it being an Indigenous round, but how much of your influence has affected him, and how he's gone about it so far this year?
Yeah, obviously, him. Well, I'll go back a little bit. It's being a young lad, and his dream was to play AFL footy, just like his cousin Isaiah, who got drafted to St Kilda at pick 12 in that first round. So it was Tex's dream to also get drafted in that national draft last year, but unfortunately, because of COVID, he was boarding in Melbourne, and his year 11 COVID hit, so no Victorians got to play. South Australians, they still managed to get their season up and running after a small break, and then his year 12 year, COVID relaxed, I guess, for that break, and the Victorians got to play. I think it was only half a season in the end, but he had a foot injury, so he didn't really get to play. So he got to come back and play one game for his school, Xavier College, and it was the grand final. So he got to play one game, and they won by a few points, and that was it. So there wasn't much footage of him. They couldn't film that game because of COVID. No one was allowed to watch in the ground on the oval. So it was tough for him when he didn't get picked up. And Essendon gave him an opportunity. They said, "Mate, we know you've got talent. We saw it as a kid. We know it's in your blood. We know what you want to do. Come out and train with our boys over the summer. So he went out and trained, did November, December, January, February, did 3-4 months of pre-season. And his talent, rose to the top in terms of, showing what he's got. So they picked him up, which was a dream come true for him. And to see him play that first game, get his first game against the D's and kick his first goal, I got a little bit excited because of, all the hard work that he'd done. So that was a nice goal on his left, running away and opening the goal face up. And, not every player gets to snap a left foot on their debut in their, for their first goal. So, I guess I've just always encouraged him to be himself. Didn't want to put too much pressure on him early days because, being the son, of myself, I guess, and having a successful career, there could be pressure there. But I think he, in a way, he likes that pressure. I think he's, and I guess to play AFL footy, you've got to be able to handle pressure, don't you? So that could set him up really well. But he's done it all himself in terms of the hard work. I guess I've passed on some advice and tips along the way, and they've been a good role model for him in terms of, working hard, be a good person, don't talk about yourself too much and all those sorts of things. So hopefully I've rubbed off in a positive way for him, which, I'm sure I have.
Does it feel quite phenomenal that he's sort of following in your footsteps by playing at Essendon?
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, it's weird. It's great because, I went over to the Bombers as a 17-year-old to 24, so I spent pretty much my first half of my footy career. Well, I grew up at Essendon because I was 17 and, 18, 19, 20, right up to 23, 24. Like, they're years that you never, ever forget in terms of growing from a young boy into a young man. Like, having a drink for the first time. Not that I was a drinker, and then, hitting a nightclub for the first time, like, and driving around in Melbourne as a young lad. So, you just never forget those years. And for him, being able to put the red and black on has rekindled a lot of, amazing memories that I had at the Essendon Footy Club and, being a Brownlow medalist there and a part of that iconic Baby Bombers side where we had half the team was pretty much teenagers. That'll never, ever happen again. And playing at MCG and then Windy Hill, and it just brought back a lot of memories, now that Tex is there. So wonderful memories that I have there.
How did you go sort of moving across? Like, obviously, it's a lot younger of an age than it is now. So how did you deal with that sort of pressure to go, you're playing against grown men and they were a lot more physical back then than they are now?
They certainly were a lot more physical. A lot more physical, I tell you what. It was a matter of just having a lot of good teammates, mature and big-bodied teammates who had my back and looked after me. So that was really important because it's a team game and you can't be left on your own, especially young guys coming to the system. They need bodyguards, through that first year, second year, until they can find a bit of, strength in the gym and a little bit of size themselves and confidence themselves to be able to give a bit of a nudge back or give a bit of an elbow back to the throat, just to let opposition know, hey, I'm not mucking around here. I'm not a kid no more. Or even if I am a kid, well, I'm going to have a go back. I'm just not going to let you put it over me. So, and that was my approach. I took it out on kicking goals on them or running away from them, taking a mark or taking a bounce. And, but you're right. It was a different game back then. There was a lot of stuff that went on behind play, and it's a very clean game today, let me tell you.
Well, we talk about clean. Your 1993 season, Baby Bombers, as you said, you get to the end of the year and Gavin Wanganeen, 3 votes, Brownlow medalist is yelled out. How was that, considering a couple of years into your career, you're a Brownlow medalist and winning a premiership in the 1 year?
Crazy, yeah. You just don't really, it doesn't really sink in at the time, especially as a 20-year-old. If it was a 30-year-old, well, it'll sink in differently because you're a little bit more wiser. You appreciate things a lot more, and you understand how the world operates a lot more in terms of hard work and how hard it is to win a premiership to be successful. So looking back on it now, it's like, yeah, it didn't really sink in during that year or two. Pretty much didn't even really sink in until I hung the boots up, to be honest with you.
Speaking of Brownlow medals, 10 years later, how bloody stiff can you get? Should have been two-timer, mate. What went wrong?
Yeah. That was a pretty damn good year, 03, with the power that I had, and I got freed up into the midfield by Choco, and I must admit, going into the night, I went through all the rounds and I had a look, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to be stiff to be beaten tonight. Like, it's going to be very unlucky. So you can imagine when I'm, thinking I'm going to, get to that last round, I'm thinking, oh, gee, I'm one vote off, and then I've got one round to go. And I'm thinking, no, I should have had 5 or 7 more votes already. I should have been wrapped up. So all these emotions going through my mind, and then I get the 2 votes in that game where everyone was saying I should have got the 3 votes. So it would have been a 4-way tie. But then I'm thinking, no, I should have won it outright. So all these things are going through my head. But look, I was still proud of the season that I had 10 years later. But it certainly would have sounded a lot more, a lot nicer to be a 2-time Brownlow medalist at two great clubs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bloody hell. I'll take you back a bit to making the move back to Port. What was it like coming back and then becoming captain as well, to sort of lead the way into the AFL era?
Yeah, look, obviously because of my connection to the Port Magpies, I had that one season before I went over in the seniors, but I knew coming back it was going to be a little bit different because we were going to be the power. It was a new emblem. It was, my being a South Australian, so there was temptation to come back, and the club, Brian Cunningham and the likes did a great job to lure me back home. And even though they might have been a little bit one-eyed with their approach, and it was. Something I wanted to do. If I didn't have the success that I had at Essendon, I wouldn't have come back. So it's just lucky that I had that success, because I felt that I'd given my all to the Bombers and threw myself into packs and marks and just really played some hard, amazing, exciting footy, just putting my body on the line week after week. I did it for 6, 7 years that I was there. So I thought, you know what, we've got the premiership, I've got the Brownlow. I thought I'd just make the decision, come back home because of that connection to the Port Magpies, and then I guess being captain. Look, to be honest with you, I was only quite young. It was new to me, but I just took it in my stride, and I thought, well, I'll lead by example, because I always put my head over the footy. I always ran back in the packs. I always tackled hard, and I did all these things that should be expected by a captain, to lead by example. So. To experience, being, the captain of that first power team for the first years was, it was a good experience. But I felt that 4 years was enough for me, because there was a lot of responsibility, and I had quite a few injuries during those 4 years. I probably only played a half a season every year for those 4 years, 5 and then 6 years. So even a couple of years after that, had just little niggles, broken thumb, broken wrist, little stress fracture in my foot where I missed 10 games, pins in my thumb, and then a hamstring, and then a quaddie, and then a calf, all these things, which I thought, I just don't want any added pressure. So the last, 3 or 4 years, or 2 or 3 years of my power career was good, because I didn't have too many injuries. So I just went out and enjoyed it and played some good footy after that.
Yeah. I think it was 2001. You gave the captaincy away or something like that, and then as soon as you gave it away, prelim. 01, 02, 03, and then into 04. Tell us about that period, the golden era of what could have been for Port. You were one of the key staples. Treaders in his fine form, and Stewie Jew finding his touch, and countless others a part of the group. Tell us about that golden era.
Yeah, you're right there with those names. And, the Burgoynes, Big Brendan Lade was absolute champion ruckman. And the Cornses, very good, players who helped Roger James, and the like. Byron Pickett. He came for. He was a bit later, wasn't he? He came for the grand final? Yeah, that was that year. That was his first year, wasn't it? Was it 04?
03 or 04, yeah. It was one of
03. Yeah, so you're right. No, he was half that time. But, yeah, it was unlucky, man. It was unlucky with best team for 3-4 years, and we didn't make it count when it needed to count, which was playing your best footy in September. So, but lucky. I don't know if you call it luck, maybe. Yeah, it's not luck. It's your last roll of dice where you're hungry and you have to lay it all out and you have to get something out of it. Otherwise, you get nothing out of it and end up becoming bitter and twisted and sad and sorry old men. That's what would have happened if we didn't win in 04, because there was so much hard work and for little reward, And when we're in pole position for those 3 previous years, pole position, home finals, and we just couldn't make the most of it. So, and, see Choco, walking down after just crying the tears, because I knew the hard work and the opportunities. The tears were coming out because it was over the opportunities that were missed, and then to finally get it. So it was just overwhelming release for him, and then the choking of the tie. It was such a special day, for that group of players, because of the 3 or 4 previous seasons, how successful they were without reward. So, and as the Power, it's our only premiership. It's our only premiership. We've got 1 premiership. So, I mean, that's how I look at it. And in the AFL, it's 1, and that's a different tradition now. It's a different history, compared to how the Maggies' history, where they were iconic, absolute record breakers that will never be repeated. That's on a level that's untouched. And we're the Power. We're in the AFL now, and we aspire to be like that, and try and set standards where we can be successful and consistently be successful. But we got 1 premiership as the Power. So, hopefully the boys can, do their thing and change that, and soon.
Fingers crossed. And obviously we've had the rough prelims the past few years, but prelims,
well,
that St Kilda one. So we spoke with Dom Kazisi a couple of weeks ago, and he said it was the only time he ever heard Choco give you a bit of a serve. Do you remember what he said to you? And then the goal, just take us through it.
So, I think he just got he's never raised his voice at me, I guess, when you're, you're doing your thing and, you're performing and over many years. And then when it's really needed, because it was such an important game and we were behind the 8 ball, we were getting smashed actually. And he just really, it was along the lines of like, Gav, and he sort of yelled, it was like, we need you, like we need you. Like, it was from the heart and from a desperate place. And his emotions were high, and he got fired up a bit, but it was in the right tones, and it was from the right place. And that was at half time. So so anyway, it was the last quarter that I really, the opportunity started to come, I guess. Ball started to come in a bit quicker, which is good for forwards, and you said 1 goal. There was 2 goals that I kicked. I think I kicked 2 last.
Yeah, you definitely kicked 2.
So the one I kicked before the sealer from the close to the boundary was that one from about 55 out.
Yes. Remember that?
So that was very, just as important, because if I didn't kick that, I wouldn't have had a chance to win it with the second one, if you know what I mean. So I look at that and I thought, that's a 65 bit of drop pump bomb, So I had to dig deep, because I was past my prime. Like, I'm 31, and I was just past my prime. And thank goodness that one went through. And then, that other guy, that last goal that put us in front. Yeah, mate, I just had to read it, and hey, it was just one of those very important goals that got us into a grand final. So I was really, really proud of it.
I had a perfect view of it too.
I
was sat right behind the goals and just watching this go.
Oh my God, really?
I still remember that night. as clear as crystal. I remember some weird shit. So that was definitely up there. And then take us through your final 2 years, 05 and then 06, playing your 300th. How important was that to you to get to that milestone?
Yeah, it was. Then 05 and 06. So 05 as a 32-year-old, 32-year-old approaching 33. I played some good footy in patches, just coming on and off the bench and on the wing and just using my smarts and good ball use, which was really important for the side. So Chock said, you can easily go around next year, Gav. Just do that for the next few years. I said, yeah, I know I can do that. He said, you only need to play half the game time or 3/4 of the game time max. I said, yeah, I can do that, coming off the bench and just pinch hit and get my 15, 20 possessions and do damage that way and still stay fresh because I still have my speed, So, but 05, I ended on 299. So the last game of the year, I was on 299, and I actually I didn't want to go around again, because I think, just mentally, I think I was just starting to, feel. And then that's when Chock said, well, have an easy pre-season. You just do the bare minimum and, take any time you want off. And I thought, I can do that and I'll give it my all. So came back for that one game, mate, guys, so to get that 300. So when I look back on it, to see a 3 in front of it is really important. So I was really thankful for Chock to give me the opportunity because, anyone ever ended up on 299? I don't know, but that would be not good at all.
I think the game's equivalent of Brendan Favola, which would be a bit stiff, wouldn't it? I'd hate it on 299 or even 199. They just suck.
Yeah.
Or 99.
Yeah, that too.
Well, that's right. It's because you don't get 100, and at least 299, you've got a couple of hundred. You've experienced it.
And games that we love to see you dominate were Showdowns, and we speak about Showdowns quite often on the pod. Just, do you have a favourite one?
Well, the first one was pretty special because we were never given a chance really by anyone. That's really special. I really enjoyed the one where I've got to play it forward and kick 6. That was nice.
01, I think it was.
And we had a good run against the Crows back when I was playing. We hardly ever lost any. So I'd have to say probably that first one, just sheer because of the excitement of, probably thinking, well, are we not going to win? And no one gave us a chance. That was probably the best one. I'd have to say, yeah.
I agree with that. I think. The one you kicked 6 though. Did you get 3 Brownlow votes?
I think I got 1. I might have got 1. And there's a couple other Showdowns I thought I played all right. And they robbed me a little bit. Maybe they have high expectations for me, They're very, they judge me harshly.
I've actually got it in front of me. You got 2 Brownlow votes, but had 6 and 18. He kicked 6 and had 18 touches. 2 Brownlow votes. Joshy Franco snatched it from you.
That's all right. It's all good.
Jeez.
Speaking of some of your teammates.
Go, Huddo.
Sorry. So speaking of some of your teammates, Gav, who was probably the quirkiest off the field? Who had some just really strange quirks?
Well, Shay Cockatoo Collins, I think, and a lot of the power teammates would have to agree. He's one of the quirkiest and one of the out there sort of fellows, if he took a mark, and he was a good grab for his size, one grab, and he'd go back, take his time because he wanted a bit of limelight. He wanted to get second. he wanted TV time. He wanted the second, so he took his time. And I remember him once. He put the ball down like this, and he closed his eyes like that. And he goes about 3 or 4 seconds, closed his eyes and then he looked up. Oh, what's going on there, man? Come on. And there was another time where Shay at Footy Park, he hurt his knee and he was on the ground and he was going over and he's waving like this to the doc and to the medicos and he's going,
no, he's done.
And he's holding his knee going. So I'm thinking, oh shit, he's done his knee. And then he's going, and he's coming off with the doc and the physio. coming off, and then I actually wasn't playing this game. So I saw it, and then I quickly ran down because I was a bit worried for him. And I went near the race, and they took him down the race. I go, brother, you right? You all right? He goes, nah, as he's going down, nah. And he's crying. Nah,
No.
no good. No, you should laugh. Anyway, about 5 or 6 minutes later, I look to my left. I'm watching the footy, and I look to the left on the boundary line. I see Shay Cockatoo Collins running like bloody a gazelle, flying on the side, up and down, doing sprints. He was fine.
It's a miracle. He's back.
He's back. I'm thinking, that? And you're sprinting, no worries. You're sprinting like you're, young gazelle. So, yeah, he's pretty quick, old Shay, that's for sure.
Oh.
We've heard some other roommate stories as well from past players we've had on. Did you ever room with anyone over the course of the years that really just maybe you shouldn't have?
Actually, you know what? I mean, there were some funny habits with some of the boys. In the end, me and Peter roomed together a lot, and so we sort of knew each other's habits and routines, so we respected those. And we respect them. So, light out, pure darkness, no TV. Actually, Shay was shocking. Cocky was shocking. Yeah. It just reminded me. But I had to tell the team manager, I'm not rooming with Shay anymore.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So what would happen is, I'd get to sleep and I'd roll out, and it was 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, the TV's on.
Oh.
And I go and turn it off, and then I go back to sleep, and Shay gets up and tells me, I need to sleep with it on. No way, this is going off. And then, he watched TV all night, and Shay, brother, I can't do that. I think I did Fabian Francis early in the piece as well. He was actually all right, but can't remember. He had some habits as well. But I think, in the end, me and Pete, we were pretty good together, rooming.
Oh,
I had Shane Bond a little bit. It was good. We were good laughs together. We had some good laughs. Old Bondy, Shane Bond, brother boy. But good old days.
Did you have any at the Dons that may have that bit quirky?
So Joe Mercedes, Smoking Joe, my premiership teammate. He was. Mercedes. Yeah, he was Smoking Joe for his nickname Smoking Joe for a reason. Especially after the grand final, we'd throw back a few ciggies and blow out a few rings. perfect rings. So Smoking Joe. Yeah, so he was a good laugh, and big Stephen Alessio, Mark McCurry, Italian boys, good laughs. So many good memories there too. Yeah.
And you played under 3 different coaches in your AFL career, Sheeds, Jack, and Choco. What were their different quirks, and what was sort of different about them? How'd you go with them?
Yeah, look, it was such a privilege to play under each of those coaches. Early days with Jack Cale, and he had that 1 year with him. He was a very positive coach. He was full of positivity and encouragement, and he built self-belief in his players, so he could get them up. So especially the fringe type players, so the 3 or 4 fringe players, and then the 3 or 4 other guys who are actually playing on the field, who are holding their spots. He was able to get them to play above their skin, or out of their skin, should I say. That's because he said things to them that made them believe that they were better than what they really were, and they go out and play better than their own ability. So that goes to show, if you tap into your that psyche to the players, how to prod that and give them that confidence. That it's so true. You can use your mind to exceed your own expectations, and that's something that stood out with me from Jack, was the fact that he could get players to play better than what their talent was. And then even with the better players that were in the team, he wanted them to attack. He didn't muck around. We kick it long. We win the contest at the ball. We move it on, and we don't stuff around with it. We just play long, attacking footy every time. If someone's in a better position, just give it to them, but we keep it moving. So there's not that, and that's a recipe for great success. That's why he was, an unbelievable coach. And Sheeds, well, yeah, he always went into bat for his players. He loved his players. He expected the boys to put their head over the ball, to be tough, ruthless. I mean, he was a plumber from, Richmond. Like he had shit in him. Sheeds had real shit in him. Like I remember one game. I don't want to say the ruckman, which one it was. So he said we were playing up in Sydney might have been 92 or end of 91, and our ruckman at the time, I remember saying to him, said, I want you to run straight through your opponent, your ruck. I want you to get your knee right up into his chin. I don't want him to come off. I want him to come off the football field. Anyway, he went out there and he jumped straight for him. And I just could not believe it. And I saw that ruckman on the ground. He got stretchered off, So that was 91 into 91. It was real tough days. It's like you just going, he's there to be hit. He's going, they get your knee up, get your knee in the rib, and get him off the footy field. Because if you don't do it, that's what he say, he will do it to you. Which one is it? That's the game of football. But it's a tough game, and back then it's obviously different now. But he expected some real, But then from there, he had a huge soft spot to him as well. He was very caring. He wanted you to, be good with yourself outside of football. But he liked to mix things up. He wasn't scared to throw players into different positions when things weren't going too well. He'd throw 3 or 4 players around into different positions, which would give them an opportunity to get excited because they're not doing the boring same old position, tactics, what they need to do every week in, week out. They all of a sudden get an opportunity to play on the ball, or all of a sudden a halfback flanker will get opportunity to play in a half forward line and vice versa. And they just come to life. And he'd just be doing this consistently. And, but he liked the game to be played fast as well and attacking and creatively. So, and then Chock was similar as well, I think, to Sheeds in a way. I mean, Choco went and coached the reserves for a few years out there under Sheeds. So, and then, Choco, gave me that year where he said, you're going to play in the midfield this year, Gav, as a 30-year-old. And I went possibly had one of my best seasons. So, missed out on the Brownlow by 1. So really thankful for him to free me up and excite me again, So he had that ability to switch things up. And I'm really happy for Chock to get that 1 premiership, because he put a lot of work into the previous, 5, 6, 7 years, but especially the 3 or 4 years previous where we're at the top of the tree. So, so I was, really lucky. Well, not lucky, but, really enjoyed playing under those coaches.
Did you actually, speaking of the premiership, we haven't spoken about the day as yet. Waking up, grand final day, obviously you've been there before with the Bombers in 93, but waking up part of the Port Adelaide spec in the AFL, and as you mentioned, being a little bit older, you can appreciate the day a little bit more. Waking up and see the younger guys around you and getting to the G itself, how did that feel pre-game in the build-up?
Yeah, well, it'd been such a long time since I'd, gotten back there, 10 years prior. So it was definitely a different feeling. And it was a lot of nerves because I knew it was my last crack. It was my last ever crack, and probably the group as well. It was our last ever crack because you don't have 3 or 4 years where you're in your prime, where you probably should win 1 or 2 or 3 premierships, and you don't, and then you get one last opportunity. So I was quite nervous. I was quite nervous, but I had a bit of confidence knowing that if we stick at it, we just stick at it for 4 quarters, we'll get them in the end. So I had that inside me. I knew that we're just gonna stick with them and we'll be fine. But I was still edgy because of the importance of it. I was very edgy, so I had to control the nerves. I didn't eat too much breakfast. I must admit my appetite was a little bit. It wasn't as good as it usually was. but that's how it is, you know. You've got to learn to deal with your nerves and not let it get the better of you, and just have that inner belief that you're gonna just keep coming. You're just gonna keep coming, and you're gonna keep coming.
And from that day, your premiership Guernsey, obviously getting that back years later, how good was that feeling to actually have it in your hands again?
Yeah, it was when it was so good because I never thought I'd see it ever again, and I got my one from the Bombers days, '93 premiership there, and didn't have my power one, my other premiership. So I was so happy, and I could not believe it. I still can't believe it to this day. So to the person who gave it back, and to the club for reaching out on socials far and wide and putting out, the feelers. It was amazing that someone in Tasmania had it, and they got in contact with the club to give it back. So I'm just so blessed to be able to get that back because I never thought I'd see it again.
One of the great finds, I would say. It's a bigger story that should be told. Let's be honest. Actually, just quickly, Gav, as well. We talk about Norm Smith medalist. Obviously, Byron Pickett winning the day, 4 goals. Did you feel a bit? Hey, come on, boys, give us a couple of votes.
Look, Choppy played a great game, and love him. But to kick 4 in about the space of 8 or 9 minutes, which really busted the game open, put it beyond doubt. Yeah, I thought I was a chance. And getting back to what I said earlier, it's a case of judging you at high they have higher expectations of judge you a bit harshly. So anyway, another one that slipped through along with the Brownlow, but
absolutely stiff, real stiff.
I'm just so happy I got one.
Yeah, yeah. They do need some friends though.
We'll go straight into our merch segment, I reckon, Ant.
All right, let's do it. This is where we talk about our favourite merch that we have randomly of Port Adelaide and Huddo. You've had a couple of days to think about this one. What have you got for us? You had some magnets the other episode. What have you got now?
This is far better. I'm going on a tour. All right, I need to unblur the camera because...
He's going on a tour.
Yeah, because this is my most prized Port Adelaide
I reckon
possession.
it's a little dull, isn't it?
I'm trying to find out where the effects are on this thing. I've forgotten how it fixes. While you do this, Ant, why don't you find yours and then I'll fix my camera.
What are you doing? Why are you trying to?
I'll show you in a sec because it's my greatest. It is my best thing that I've got.
Well, mine. While you do that, Huddo, I'll show you mine, and it's custom made, and it's a little tribute. We haven't done a lot of Travis Boak content in the last few weeks. He's been a bit quiet, and I'd just like to say that my friend from work made this for me when I was feeling a bit upset. I think we just lost a showdown or something, and she's gone and made me a custom made Travis Boak mug.
Oh my God! It's got love on it.
Yeah, love.
That's cute. That's cute.
Every morning I have a coffee with Boakey. So
that is outrageous.
That's mine this week.
Mine's pretty deep. So my pa won this in a raffle, and Gav, you were his favourite player of all time. So this was the main thing that I pretty much got left in the will after he passed away. It is a framed and signed Guernsey.
Wow.
There it is.
Look at that.
Unfortunately, on there, it says Premiership Player 2003.
We got the year wrong.
They got the year wrong. So when I was younger, I liked to point out mistakes on random things. So wonder how I got into media. I decided to tell him, and his response, well, it's worth more. I know. So it sits proudly in the lounge room.
Nice jumper. That old school power jumper. That's that's beautiful.
The old SBS jumper. I miss it. It was very nice.
They should
SBS.
wear that jumper. I mean, I wish I was wearing it today. That was the Power, our entry, something similar to that. But anyway, I'm old school Power. Or at least wear it every showdown or something, because that's our premiership jumper and that's tradition.
It is very much so.
That's until the current group wins their own premiership, they should be wearing that.
Oh,
I like that.
You know what I
completely
mean?
agree.
We deserve that. But anyway, it's the only premiership we've got. That's such a beautiful jumper. Anyway, there I started. What do you call it?
Campaign. Bit of a
Start
campaign.
a camp,
Got to wear
a
that
petition.
one.
Bring back the SBS jumper.
Got to bring that one back so the current playing group can wear it one game per year. Just one game per year until they win a premiership.
All right, that because that's another campaign to start this week, Huddo, because we've got Alapate Carlisle's one of finding his prison bar Guernsey he wore in 2014. So
Yeah.
we've got a couple of campaigns to go for. So I like that one, Gav. I reckon that works a treat.
Now, Gav, what different port merch have you got sitting around at home? Obviously, you got your Essendon Brownlow, you've got your premiership medal, you got your premiership Guernsey, but surely you've got something out there.
Yeah, I've got a few of. Like we've just moved house recently, and so a lot of my memorabilia stuff has come to to light, and there's quite a few of these Gavin Wanganeen doll things, like those. They were like
Yes.
Gavin doll things, and there's about 3 or 4 of them. There's some small ones this size, and there's a bigger one. And there's about 4 or 5 of them, and a few of them, the arm's broken off, so I've got a stump there. I think, do I throw it away or do I keep it because I'm missing an arm? But I must say, yeah, and it's got the old Power jumper on it. So, yeah, it's the little doll, statue doll, whatever it is.
Babushka doll.
Wobbled around.
Yeah, one's a wobble. One's a wobble, and then others weren't. They were just stiff neck.
Because I remember my pa actually had that. He actually had one of those wobble ones, like Wanganeen wobble one.
Yeah.
I was like, this is outrageous. It was fun to play with.
And I think, I don't know if I still got it. I might have it somewhere. The early Power days, I don't know, 97 or 98, there were these round dishes or plates, butter plates.
Yes.
Like this here. And had 3 of the players. I was one of them, and there was 2 other players on it, and we were on these plates. I remember finding it like old school. And we had the Power 97, 98 jumpers on. There'll be a few of those. Mate, they were classics.
Timmy Jennifer had a few, didn't he?
Yeah, I reckon he did. Well, he had some quirky stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a lot of quirky stuff. But hey, Huddo,
it's time.
Should we get into quick fire questions with Gavin Wanganeen?
Yes, we should. Been looking forward to this. This will be incredible.
All right, Gav. You might think the questions we've asked you so far have been pretty good. You wait till you hear these ones. These are going to be the most controversial questions you're ever asked. And I'm not talking about how they're asked. I'm talking the answers you give. But we'll start simply with your favourite TV show.
Favorite TV show? What can it be? A series?
Yeah. Anything you like.
Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
I like it.
My mum watches that. She's obsessed.
I think that's the second time we've had Vikings.
I watch it all. 6 seasons. Yeah, all gone.
It's pretty brutal, isn't it, Vikings?
Yeah, a bit brutal, but yeah, it's good.
Your go-to karaoke song?
Brown-eyed girl, Matt Morrison.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Rendition? No.
Absolutely not.
I reckon, Huddo, you're going to be on an island here, but this is just an assumption. What's your favourite Simpsons character, Gav?
Homer.
Yeah.
Another Homer. There you go.
Homer.
He's just a laugh.
Your favourite flavoured potato chip?
I have to say potato.
Oh, like the originals.
Plain old potato.
Yes, that's great.
Oh,
I
no.
do like the salt and vinegar.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love a salt vinegar, but just on consistency, like sometimes I just really feel like a plain potato flavour.
Oh,
I agree.
This is good, Ant. Gavin and I are on the same wavelength there. Dav would be turning listening to this.
Yeah, he would be. Gav, what is there more of in the world, doors or wheels?
Wow.
I love this question so much.
I don't know. I have to say doors.
That's common sense. Answer that one.
Mm.
Gav, just quickly, are you a Maxi Bon fan?
A what?
Maxi Bon?
Like the ice cream.
What's that?
It doesn't eat Maxi Bonds.
Beautiful. I'll take that. All right, Gav, what is your favorite flavored shape?
Favorite flavored shape.
Yes, shape flavor.
You mean those pizza shape things?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Pizza shapes.
Diamond? Is there a diamond?
Which one of the diamond ones?
Is there a diamond shape? I don't know.
Diamond.
Was it a pizza flavored? Pizza.
Pizza.
Flavoured? Pizza flavored.
Yeah, there's pizza.
There's pizza. It is.
Pizza
it is.
flavored.
diamond.
I thought it was a diamond, but anyway, I thought the pizza flavored
Yeah,
was a diamond.
Yeah, the actual flavor.
I think they're a hexagon. I don't know.
Hexagon. Okay, I got it mixed up with something else, but the pizza one.
All right. Bugger.
The
Damn
diamond.
pizza shapes.
The diamond.
That's great, Gav. That is really good. Oh.
That's very good, Gav. Diamond
What about
flavored
pizza?
shapes.
Anyone else like the pizza one?
I'm chicken crimpy.
I'm barbecue.
I'm the pizza flavour. Yeah, I like the pizza flavour.
That's
I'm
all.
actually not a big fan of any of those three. If I had to pick one, like I don't like the chicken crispy. I don't like them. I mean, I'll eat it, but after 2 or 3, it's like, why am I eating this? And then the what's the other one?
Barbecue.
The barbecue. Yeah, it's all right. It's just, I can only eat so many. And then same with the pizza. I don't really like them. If I had to pick one, it's the pizza.
Yeah. Fair enough.
The lesser of three evils, the pizza shape.
Yes.
That's very good. All right, Huddo, let's get into the next segment because diamond flavored shapes are the big thing at the moment. So we're going to go into obscure Port Adelaide players, Gav, and Huddo's going to kick us off. Who's yours for this ep?
All right, so he was a teammate of Gav's early Port career. Played from 97 to 2001, played 20 games. I'm pretty sure he's a Barossa boy as well. Nathan Steinburner.
Steiny.
Yes. So there you go. He kicked 3 goals in 99. But yeah, played 20 games for Adelaide. Pretty sure it was Tanunda boy.
Yeah, he's a nice fella, Steiny. He was
Quite
fit.
well at Central District.
Yeah, did he play in premierships of Central Districts?
I think nearly everyone in the northern suburbs did, actually.
That's right. They had a fair era, didn't they?
Freakish. But yeah, Steiny's mine. How about you, Gav? Who have you got?
I don't know if he played any games, but for some reason it always comes to mind. And that's a guy called Jake Lynch.
Oh, okay.
Lynchy.
Oh,
I don't think he might have had one game.
Oh,
what
Power.
years were they?
I think he was drafted. He got drafted in 97 or 98. He was on the list for about 3 years, I think.
Yep.
He was a young lad. He was funny. He just had these tiny teeth, and he's always smiling. His tiny teeth, and he had this funny laugh on him. Lynchy. There's one for you. Just go and do some research.
I know.
That is elite.
Jake Lynch.
There you go.
He's
That's
actually
real.
he's actually a dentist now. I bumped into him at a 40th or something, and I was like, Lynchy, your teeth are really white.
He's got it done up.
And he's a
Oh,
dentist.
that's good.
Yeah, I'm a dentist now, brother. You know. Good. Oh, doing well. There we go, Jake Lynch.
Jake
Hey.
Lynch.
All right, I'm going to research him after the pod. For sure.
I reckon.
Shredders knows him.
Shredders. Oh, us Shredders. I'll flick him a text. Mate,
Shredders
tell
knows
us
him.
about Jake Lynch. Very
Jake.
intrigued by that. And who have you got, mate?
I'm going to rival Jake Lynch. Bloke that plays. He played 2 years, 04, 05. He didn't play a game. Luke Peel.
Oh,
Yes, redhead
Yeah. Redhead.
from Victoria.
Yep.
Victorian, Lukey Peel.
Yep. 04, 05, he was on the list. Didn't play a game.
He came across with a bit of hype. It was a good
Yep.
junior from Victoria.
and
Yep.
Lukey
Didn't play a
Peel.
game.
jeez.
Yeah, the good size, probably 6'2", good, looked like a good athlete, but yeah, couldn't get down and dirty.
Oh, love the outside ball.
Yeah, just didn't have any shit in him.
Oh,
Couldn't peel the layers on the inside, could he?
oh jeez.
He's a nice guy though.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's what
He's a
matters.
good young man. Good young man.
All right. Huddo,
Yes.
It's time for our favourite segment on the podcast, Gav. It's a segment we like to talk about our great man, Stephen Salopek, and a segment we like to call Better Call Sal. This is where we talk about our favourite Stephen Salopek moments. And Gav, why don't you kick us off with this one? What is your favourite Stephen Salopek moment?
Look, I remember Sal a lot. He's a great young man. He took a long time to start playing footy, getting games.
Mm. He had a shit house haircut early days.
Yeah, he dyed his hair a bit, but I don't know if I've got any funny moments. Maybe that's funny in itself. I don't have any I don't have any funny moments. I mean, but other than I had a good relationship with Sal. Like, he was a great young man and who had to endure, a bit of hardship early because Chock was getting into him a lot. He came across was he a second round, fourth pick?
Yeah, he was early pick, very early pick.
Very early pick, and he didn't show much promise early. And I remember Chock getting into him a fair bit.
Bloody hell.
And the pressure getting, being thrown upon him when he played, and it took him a while to get going. But he finally dug deep and he kept persisting and putting in the hard work, and then he got the rewards. Later he was. The club was patient with him, but he came through in the end. So anyway, you'll have to laugh at me for not having a funny moment.
I think my favourite bit about this is you got more Jake Lynch stories than you do Stephen Salopek stories.
And he was only around for 10 seconds too, Lynchy. I mean, Sal was around for what? How many years was Sal end up doing? 8?
Yeah.
8 or 9, yeah.
Years.
8 or 9? Did he play 100 games, Sal?
Yeah. Yeah, he got that. He cleared that. He played
130 odd, I think.
Okay, that's good.
Somewhere around there.
121, yeah.
120.
Oh,
Should have
I
got
see.
more.
Yeah, he had a few little injuries in the enders too, didn't he? He got so.
Mm.
But yeah, I remember his days because I felt for him because he had all that talent, and then he had a few injuries, but then just took him a little while to get going. But I was happy for him once he got going because he persisted. He just kept going. He never gave up.
No, that's good.
Good old
True for
Sal.
Adelaide. Yeah, love that.
I love hearing that about Sal. That's great. Hello, what's yours?
Going back to 2007, I did, pretty sure I mentioned the Geelong game, the Dom Cassisi game, as we called it. I'm going the week before. Yanks Hawthorn down in Tassie. And just before quarter time, we're all over the Hawks, and he's kicked the goal. We're 16 points up at quarter time. And thank God for Brett Ebert that day, I tell you what.
So you didn't refresh the AFL tables page, did you, from the other night? And you've just gone straight into the game before.
Yeah, but
Brilliant.
that is another one from Sal. What about you, Ant?
Well, I'm going back to 2003, round 3. We played the Hawks at home, won by 57 points, and it was
Bashing episode.
yeah, and it was Sal's first win for the footy club.
Love that.
He had 10 touches wearing the number 31 and kicked 1 goal 3.
Hey,
His first win.
Was that? Can you remember the weather that day or that night? Was it a night game?
it was too.
It
It was
was.
pissing down with rain.
Oh, really?
I reckon I actually
remember
can.
Pissing down like you could barely see 5 meters in front of you at one stage.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
because I was under a Rugrats blanket with my nana, like just trying to protect us from the rain.
I can remember that game really well, and I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Yeah.
No, maybe I better not.
Go on.
Go on.
You've thrown the rod in already, Gav.
Yeah. How's that though? You mentioned that was your memory of that game, and then I said, "Well, what was the weather like that game?" Because I knew it was pissing down, and then I knew it was pissing down, and I remember that game because I did something really funny that night.
Oh,
here we
really?
go.
Really funny.
What'd you do?
It was so funny. I mean, can you remember how wet it was?
Yeah, I could barely see halfway across the ground.
Yeah, and it was really windy. And it was thick, and you could barely see. I mean, you could not see the other side of the ground. We could barely see like 10 meters ahead of ourselves, like playing. So I'm thinking it's going to be cooled off. Anyway, I'll get right into this. Hope it doesn't come out and bite me. So it was. I was so soaked, like when it's so wet and you feel really heavy, and the jumpers just soaked, your shorts are soaked, your footy boots, your socks are just so heavy.
Yeah.
And it's raining so heavy, and I'm down one end of the ground, and I can't even see where the football is down the other end of the ground. I could barely see. I'm thinking they should be calling this game off. What's going on here? I'm standing here, don't even know where the footy is, and I needed to go to the toilet.
Oh my god!
And I kind of sort of just thought, fuck it, I'll just wet myself. So I just went to the toilet. I was wet anyway, so I just went to the toilet.
That is the best. That is so good, Gav.
Look, you put it in perspective. It was just drenched. It was drenched, and no one could see anything. And my opponent was next to me. He didn't know what was going on. I was busting, so I thought, I'll just wet myself. It's not going to make any difference. I'm saturated anyway. There we go. It's out there.
That is the best. Have you told that? Did you tell your teammates that night, or did you just?
Yes, and I don't know if you get Brett Ebert on, he'll tell you all about it.
Oh,
Because how's this right? So I bumped into Brett about 2-3 weeks ago, and hadn't seen him for quite a few years, and obviously it was real sad to see that his old man had passed away, and the great Russell Ebert. Anyway, it was good to see Brett because we always had a good relationship and had some good laughs and little quirky laughs and nicknames for each other. And he goes, "Gav, remember that time against Hawthorn?" And he reminded me of it. I forgot about it. And he reminded me about it 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. "Gav, remember when you pissed yourself when it was raining against Hawthorn that night?" I said, "Yeah, I did too." There we go.
oh God! I'm gonna have to give Ebo a call. Get him on the pod.
Get him on.
That's sensational.
Yeah.
God.
That's not actually where I expected that to go. I did not expect that to go that way.
I was expecting I kicked 6 that night and should have got 3 Brownlow votes, but no, 1 piss in the forward line.
Yeah, and Stephen Selleck kicked 1-3.
Yeah.
The piss is more famous.
Oh,
Is that where the term rubber man came from, Gav?
Nah, the rubber man came from the MCG when I used to bend my back around some of those packs. Yeah,
I don't know how you did that. I still marvel at watching it.
back in the early days.
Oh, that's so funny. I don't think I can recover from that. Diamond shapes and pissing in the forward line.
That is the best, Gav.
I don't know where I was on the ground, but it was somewhere on the ground, and it was just you could barely see, and it was like tons of water being thrown, and it didn't make any difference. So.
It was actually a ruck contest going on right next to him.
I had a little bit of warmth for a few seconds, but
Oh,
deep
Gav,
heat.
that is so good.
That's elite. Gav, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you tonight. Honestly, I think you've made our month, week, year podcast. And giving us that story has just topped it off, I reckon.
No,
honestly, Gav, thank you so much for accepting our call to come on, and hope you've had a good time, and look forward to hopefully chatting with you again someday.
had a good laugh, fellas, and good luck with your journey on the podcast. Look forward to listening to a few of the shows.
Thanks, Gav.